What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Cam ATL. Shout out to the DFS squad. Shout out to everybody watching this video right now. Drop a like down below because I already know you're gonna love it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you comment anything down in the comments section to enter your name into the $50 giveaway that I do every single week on this channel. Speaking of which, I will comment the winner's name down in the comments section. Check around lunchtime tomorrow. I will be making sure before then that I choose the winner and post it down in the comments section for you guys around that time. So make sure you check that. I will be putting the winner's name, and whoever the winner is, hit me up on Twitter at Cam_ATL so I can send you that money right over. Either way, hit me up on Twitter. If you have any questions throughout the week and stuff, that's the best way to get a hold of me at Cam_ATL. All right. It was an amazing week 5. The squad put up NBA style numbers, cleared 300 on Draftkings, took down majority of the money on Draftkings, period, week 5. The squad was super hot. It was an amazing week 5, man. It came in a perfect time. A few down weeks and then boom, nuclear. Your boy brought in multiple 5 digits week 5. Like, I'm not going to get too in depth with it, but a lot of my customers week 5, a lot of Greenlight DFS members made more than some people make in an entire year week 5. And that's just facts. Thank you guys for joining me as always, man. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Greenlightdfs.com if you want to join the squad. And make sure you do it before Thursday so you get the showdown and you get everything added on. College football, all that stuff comes with the NFL packages. All right, let's go ahead and get straight into it, man. Starting off, and the first look's been smashing, by the way. I think we're damn near undefeated, or did we lose a week? I'm not sure, but we've been smashing with the first look. So let's go ahead and keep that streak going. At quarterback, the guy I really like, I was between Deshaun Watson again, who won us a shit ton of money week 5, and Matt Ryan. I'm leaning Matt Ryan for the $300 savings. I like Watson and Ryan equally. Watson's going against a Kansas City team that we know them as just a juggernaut, putting up 1,000,000 points. And if they end up saying, okay, Tyreek Hill's coming back, he's full strength, we're not going to play him on a limited snap count, none of that, then yeah, I believe that Kansas City's going to fire on all cylinders, and you want some Tyreek Hill if he's full go, but I highly doubt he will be full go. If he is able to practice as normal this week, I highly doubt he will be a full go. So I don't expect, and this Kansas City team's been struggling a little bit. They're missing their biggest weapon in Tyreek Hill. They've just been sputtering a little bit. Them losing to the Colts was wild. Mahomes had a little bit of an ankle injury. He'll be okay. He'll work it out and come back. I love Mahomes and GPP stacked up with a Kelsey type of guy, especially if Sammy Watkins is out, which I do expect Sammy to miss. He was dealing with an injury last week. He ended up finally practicing and playing, and then now he's dealing with a hamstring. I think they're just going to go ahead and relax him week 6, so I'm expecting Sammy to miss. Pay attention to the Tyreek Hill news. I don't think that he is going to be full go, though. Okay, I think he is going to be limited. I don't see them running him out and running him full strength after he was just doing no contact drills recently. You know what I mean? He wasn't even taking contact yet. So I just don't think he's ready for it. Anyways, with that being said, I don't know if Kansas City can put up you're used to Kansas City putting a shit ton of points up, so the team facing them has to just shoot out. Okay? But if Kansas City is still sputtering and they're without Sammy Watkins, maybe that offense doesn't put up 1,000,000 points and make Watson go crazy. But yeah, Watson's fine. Anyways, Matt Ryan's going against an Arizona secondary that is atrocious. They are very bad. I mean, they gave up 31 to Stafford, 33 to Lamar Jackson, 25 to Allen. They did okay against Russell Wilson, holding him to 14, but then Andy Dalton got 19, and that Cincinnati offense is not good this year. So Matt Ryan, he has been one of the most consistent quarterbacks in all of the NFL. His lowest score was week 4 with 19. He got 35 at Houston week 5. I absolutely love Matt Ryan in an up-tempo game against Arizona. Arizona moves quicker than any other team in the league. They fire off more plays than anybody. They move quickly. So this is a definite offensive game that you want to get a hold of. So Matt Ryan, I absolutely love him at 6'4". At running back, Now, this was a bit of a tough decision because you guys know how I feel about picking on running backs against Arizona, especially pass catchers. I immediately dropped down to 7-6 to David Johnson. All right. I want to make this clear. David Johnson is an amazing option as long as he ends up healthy. Okay. As long as he ends up in and he's fine, then it's fine. Okay. Now, Coach Kingsbury came out and said he's not guaranteed to be available for Sunday. That's a bit worrisome. Okay, that's a bit worrisome. Keep an eye on it. If he does play, then obviously he's a full go. In the first look, I didn't want to put him because we're not 100% sure at this moment. So who I'm going to go is I had some money. I'm going to go the main man, Dalvin Cook, who just never fails. I mean, this dude is a cash game monster. He's kind of like Christian McCaffrey. He's going to get so many touches in this offense that he's worth it week in, week out, regardless of matchup, all right? Against the Giants last week, he went right back to his usual self after a down week, if that's what you want to call it, getting 19 at Chicago. And Chicago's the best defense in the league, and he got 19. He bounced back, got 29 against the Giants. Now he's going against Philly, who gave up over 17 to Aaron Jones. Now, Aaron Jones absolutely is the main reason why we raked on Draftkings week 5, okay? The whole process is my week 5 lineup it had David Johnson, and then at the tight end spot, it had Tyler Eifert. That was my favorite line, and then all my other guys that I had in the lineup. And then when I found out Tyrell Williams was out, I wanted Waller. I was like, okay, with Tyrell out, Waller's already getting all these targets. I'm going Waller. I'm forcing him in, and let me see who I can get at running back. Aaron Jones fit in perfectly, and with Devontae Adams out, boom, it fit like a glove, and boom, they went crazy. And that's just kind of the mindset you got to use with DFS. Take advantage of these injury bumps. I've always told you that, okay, in every sport. It's the main thing. Anyways, I don't know how I went off on a tangent. But anyway, pretty much what I was saying is Aaron Jones went off for over 17 DraftKings points against this Philly defense. And Aaron Jones, even though he smashed Dallas, is not Dalvin Cook and does not get the as much attention as Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook, Minnesota is a run-heavy team. They are going to run it a ton on Philly here. I think that Minnesota's going to win this game, but I do think it's going to be a competitive game. Dalvin gets a ton of touches in the pass game as well. Love Dalvin Cook at 8-4. He's perfectly fine. If David Johnson ends up being full go and he's having no limitations, he's all good, he's good to go, you can save money there and go David Johnson. I'm completely fine with that, and especially with Matt Ryan being in the lineup and some other Falcons, as you will see in a minute. It's a great run back opportunity. All right. Next up, some of y'all might call me crazy, but just hear me out a second. Just give your boys some time for a second. Duke Johnson for Houston, all right? Now, I talked about worrying about Watson a little bit because Kansas City's offense isn't what we're used to seeing at this moment. But another way to look at it is that this offense just got beat by the Colts, and now they are home in Kansas City, and they're going to figure out a way to score, okay? In this situation, all right, expecting Kansas City to put up points in general, okay? I would not expect Mahomes. I mean, honestly, the highest chance goes to Mahomes snapping back. I mean, he had a great game anyway, but it goes back to that offense running fairly well, even without Sammy Watkins, and Houston's having the throw, okay? That's what I'm leaning towards most, which is why I love Duke Johnson at 4-1. Duke Johnson is the guy who gets most of the reception targets, all right, receiving targets. We all know that about Duke. He's a receiving running back. He hasn't done great this season, so he is kind of a sleeper, and I'm hoping he flies under the radar throughout this week. He got 13 week 1 and then 3, 4, 9, 7. He's just been not very good. But at 4-1, going against Kansas City, this team gave up 38 to Mark Ingram, 19 to Johnson, and then 20 to Marlon Mack. Okay, they've been giving it up to running backs. So in a game script where we expect Kansas City to be able to score with ease, you're going to expect Houston to throw the ball plenty, and Duke Johnson could definitely reap the rewards of that. If you are worried about Duke Johnson, then pivoting over to the other running back for this team, like for instance, if you think that the game flow is going to stay kind of closer in Kansas City, not get up, and the game kind of stay like a shootout and stay fairly close, I think Hyde could end up getting some goal line touches and getting in the end zone, and he's only 4-4. So if you're going down the David Johnson, you can definitely go up from Duke Johnson. But Duke Johnson's just a sleeper guy that I'm liking in the first look, especially if Kansas City is able to get up. At home in Kansas City, you'd expect them to want to get it back and run some points up and do well offensively. So I am interested in this game in general. Love this game. And Duke Johnson's the guy who gets all the targets in the pass game. When it comes to running back, he is the receiving running back on this team. And if they fall behind a good amount, they're going to be using him a ton. All right. And you have to expect this Kansas City team to pay a ton of attention to DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, stuff like that. But anyways, speaking of which, DeAndre Hopkins is an amazing play this week at 7-4. He hasn't had that huge game yet. Matter of fact, he's been a huge disappointment. Other than week 1 getting 34, he's been a huge disappointment. 9, 12, 8, and 15 are his week 2 through week 5 performances. And it's not like he's facing horrible defenses to go against. They're fine. Now he's going against the Kansas City team that gave up over 23 to Kenny Golladay week 4. DeAndre Hopkins, we know the talent level this dude has. And you can't be biased. You can't just look at this season and be like, oh, man, he's sucking right now. You know what I mean? You can't look at it and be like, oh, man, DeAndre, the last 4 weeks hasn't done well. I'm going to fade him. And just go over to Will Fuller and stack up on Will Fuller because he just had a huge game. Okay? What that would tell me is that it's DeAndre Hopkins' turn. And I think DeAndre can end up having one of those 30-point breakout games. Absolutely love DeAndre Hopkins to run back the Kansas City value that I like right here. I'm going to be completely real with you. Had no idea who this dude was before last week, but the 9 targets definitely put him on my radar. Absolutely love the 9 targets at only 3, 5. Obviously, there's connection there. Like I said before, I do expect Tyreek Hill to be back in a very limited fashion. It's not going to affect much because he won't be in much. Obviously, if Tyreek Hill is going to be a full go somehow, then yeah, you don't want to play Pringle, okay? Now, part of it's because I kind of enjoy Pringles. And part of it's because the dude got 9 targets and he's going against a Houston defense that secondary has not been very good. They've been giving up points. And this projected total for Kansas City is over 30. Okay, Vegas definitely thinks that Mahomes is going to snap back here and they're going to go off here and do very well against Houston. Houston's defense hasn't been very good in the secondary. Matt Ryan did very well. I mean, he got 35 against them. They were moving the ball. Sanu had a great game, got a touchdown. Like, these guys were balling. Pringle is only 3-5. Do I expect him to do what he did last week and drop 25? No. No, I don't. But I don't need nowhere near 25 to hit value. And the fact he got 9 targets with Sammy Watkins probably out, that's what I'm expecting as of now. Okay, in the final look, we'll kind of know more about it. But as of now, Sammy Watkins probably out and Tyreek Hill limited. There's no way he's a full go. Okay, Tyreek Hill limited. They're going to be looking to Hardeman and Robinson and this guy. And this guy got more targets than either of those dudes with 9 targets. So there's something going here. I think Pringle is, once again, a very good play at 3-5, especially if those injuries are giving him a bump, okay? And I'm taking advantage of that price tag, period. All right, next up, I mentioned him a minute ago. Had a solid game last game against Houston. Mohamed Sanu to pair up with my boy Matt Ryan. And I'm not going to lie, Aaron Hooper as well. Both of these dudes, I love pairing up with Matt Ryan. I love Julio as well, don't get me wrong. I love Julio. But Mohamed Sanu just gives me a piece of this Atlanta offense against this bad Arizona secondary to pair up with Matt Ryan at only 4-5. And look at the consistency from Sanu this year. 10-5 is not very good, but 13, 18, 15... it's there for him. He's been doing very well. Super, super consistent this season at only 4-5 against an up-tempo Arizona team that will score against the Falcons. This game right here I am very interested in, along with the Kansas City-Houston game. Those are the 2 games I am definitely wanting heavy exposure to, and it's about getting the right pieces in it. But yeah, Mohamed Sanu at 4-5, I do like the value of him. If you really want Julio, which I can understand if you want Julio, then once again, like I said, Dalvin Cook is the way to do it. Down to David Johnson and boom, you can get in Julio. I wouldn't go Julio, Muhammad, and Hooper though. It's a little too much. Okay. I would only go a few pass catchers from the offense, and that's Mohamed Sanu and Austin Hooper. Austin Hooper's actually got more fantasy points than any tight end in the entire league this year. He's been getting targeted like crazy. He's paired up with our quarterback in this first look, and he's going against a defense that's bottom in the league against tight ends. I don't have to explain much. Yes, please. I will take it. All right. And I'm not going to keep y'all too much in the first look this time. We're going to go right through it, build it up. And then in the final look, I'll spend about 30 minutes with y'all. We'll go through every single play. But right now, we're just going to go through this. I'm not going to hold you up too long. Now, at the flex position, I've been ride or die with this dude all season. At 6'6", Mark Ingram is going against the Cincinnati team that has been dreadful versus the run. They haven't given up less than 15 Draftkings. Matter of fact, let's make it exact, 16. They haven't given up less than 16 Draftkings points all season. And guess who scored 16? Frank Gore. That's ridiculous. At one time, Frank Gore was a beast, dude. A beast. But right now, I mean, the dude's hip hurts. You know what I mean? His knees are hurting. When it's cold outside, you know, his knees start hurting. His hip starts hurting. He's getting old. You know what I mean? He watches Matlock on TV. You know what I mean? Like, that's not even on anymore. He has it recorded tapes. You know what I mean? That's how old he is. Frank Gore is very old, and he dropped 16 against this horrible Cincinnati run D. Mark Ingram's going to have a day, man. Look at the Week 3 matchup against Kansas City where he got 38. That's the type of potential he has in this matchup. He could fall in the end zone 3 times. 3 times. I'm not going to lie. He got 3 touchdowns against Kansas City. He could damn near fall in the end zone 3 times. I would not be surprised to see him go bonkers in this matchup. And I'm praying to Lord that he's low owned. Please be low owned. Anyways, defense. I love pairing my defense with my running back a lot of times. And the Ravens defense going against a Cincinnati team that lost an offensive lineman this week, as well as they're just dealing with injuries in their receiving core. This team's just not very good right now, man. They are banged up. That offense is banged up. The Ravens are at home in Baltimore. This Ravens defense isn't what we're used to seeing. They haven't been nearly as good, but they're still the Ravens, D. They've got tremendous talent on this defense, and they're at home in Baltimore going against a Cincinnati team that was already not good. And now they lost another offensive lineman. It's going to be Sack City. All right. Love the Ravens at 4-1. Absolutely love them, pairing them up with Mark Ingram. I expect Baltimore to put a spanking on Cincinnati this week. So having Mark Ingram paired with the Ravens D, it just makes sense. Ravens D holding Cincinnati's offense. Mark Ingram, obviously, because game script, they're up. They're going to run a ton with Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram gets over 20 touches and boom, falls in the end zone 3 times and boom, rake in maybe 5 digits again. Hopefully. Anyways, thank you guys for joining me. Matt Ryan, Dalvin Cook, or David Johnson. Remember, keep an eye on the David Johnson situation, because David Johnson, if he's a full go against Atlanta with the type of usage he's had, I mean, he's up there top 3 in the league in offensive snap percentage. Okay, so he's on the field a ton. He's just under Christian McCaffrey and Leonard Fournette. Okay, those dudes are the most used running backs in the entire league. He's right there. So David Johnson is an amazing option. But speaking of usage, Dalvin Cook's great too. Duke Johnson, solely if you do believe, like I believe, that Kansas City is going to get it together after being embarrassed by the Colts and score well in this one. Houston's going to need to throw. And what does that mean? Duke Johnson should be a part of that. I would not be surprised to see Duke Johnson be able to get in the end zone here on a reception. Would not be surprised to see it. And he is a huge sleeper at 4-1. I do think that Duke should be reserved for GPP. He doesn't feel very cash, because we're really praying for this game to get out of hand in Kansas City, get up a little bit and give him a little, you know what I mean? Make Houston have to throw a ton. And so Duke Johnson is able to, get some from that. But anyways, either way, you can go either way, him or the other running back for Houston. They're both fine if you want to go that way. If you think the game's going to stay closer, I would go the other dude at 4-4. All right. Deandre Hopkins for Houston against Kansas City. I think this is the game he breaks out. Will Fuller had his game last game. I think this is the game for DeAndre. Everybody might go over to Will Fuller because he just went off last week. I had him last week. I probably won't have him this week. I think it's a DeAndre Hopkins week this week. All right. Byron Pringle. Solely because I like Pringles, and also because he got 9 targets, and there's, injury to Sammy Watkins. I do not expect Sammy Watkins to play. As of now, that's the reason I'm going Pringle, because I'm not expecting Sammy Watkins to play, and I'm expecting Tyreek Hill to be limited. They are very low on receiving options. They've got Hardman, they've got Robinson, they've got Kelsey. But Pringle obviously was a guy that Mahomes was relying to. 9 targets is a lot of targets for a guy at 3.5. If he can get even 6, 7 targets, I'm fine with it at 3.5. He's a punt. You know what I mean? Mohamed Sanu and Austin Hooper to pair up with Matt Ryan. Mark Ingram is going to go bonkers this week against Cincinnati. Do not sleep on that at 6-6. And then the Ravens D to run back Mark Ingram. Thank you guys for joining me as always, man. Hopefully the first look lineup keeps smashing, goes crazy. Greenlightdfs.com to join the squad. Hope all y'all had an